What can we expect in Episode 5, Eastwatch? Season 7 is just getting better and better, and the pace of the action is really picking up, so there is a lot to consider. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, this is Robert. Welcome to Deep Geek. Please do consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. As always, there are potential spoilers here from the preview trailer and other official materials, though no set leaks or photos, so be warned if you want to go into the episode completely fresh. We pick up in the aftermath of the battle at the end of episode 4. Not all of the Lannister forces were destroyed, and now Dany gives them an ultimatum: join her side or be destroyed there and then. It's not much of a choice, but it's a tactic that has been used by conquerors throughout history. I think we can probably expect most to join up, but a few, perhaps Randall Tarley for example, may call her bluff and get toasted. And Dickon will need to decide whether to go for a principled, heroic death with his father, or a more pragmatic approach. His conversations so far with Bronn and Jaime suggest this is what his character has been building towards, a growing realization that war is not always the place of glory or honour he has been told it is. We also shouldn't ignore the fact that Daenerys' approach here is a marked change in tone from her, perhaps because she is still raw from Drogon being injured in the battle. Just last episode, Missandei was singing Dany's praises as a liberator, saying that people followed her because they chose to, not because they had to. Now Dany is telling people that they have to follow her, or she will kill them. And there is still more unfinished business here. We last saw Jaime sinking to the depths of the Blackwater Rush, dragged down by his armour and a solid gold hand. But that's not going to be the end for him. There are two options here. First, Bronn may complete his epic one-man rescue mission and pull Jaime out, spiriting him away back to the Red Keep. It's not made very clear, but the battle took place by a ford over the Blackwater Rush, meaning that they were actually very close to King's Landing, so it's probably walkable or swimmable from there. And it's quite appropriate for Sir Bronn of the Blackwater to perform more heroism in the river estuary whose name he bears. Talking of which, maybe it really is time to give him that castle. It's hard to imagine what more he needs to do. Or perhaps Jaime gets pulled out by Dany's forces. Tyrion witnessed what happened and he will want to make sure Jaime doesn't drown, so maybe he sends some Dothraki to get him. If so, expect there to be a bit of debate about what to do with Jaime. He tried to kill Daenerys, so she may want to kill him, but Tyrion won't want that, and they will both know that Jaime is the best and perhaps only way to get a message to Cersei that she will pay attention to. It would be a strong message to send her. See what I can do with my dragons. Surrender now or face my wrath. Either way, whether it's carrying a message from Daenerys or doing it of his own volition, I think we will see Jaime trying to persuade Cersei that fighting against dragons is a losing proposition. We saw him several times in episode 4, staring in horror at the devastation caused in just a few minutes by just one of the 3 dragons Daenerys has at her disposal. He will know quite well how foolish it would be to try to face all 3. But Cersei won't be persuaded. She will want to keep going. In the preview we see her talking to Qyburn. She says that whatever stands in her way, she will defeat it. Those aren't the words of someone who is thinking of backing down. From her perspective, whatever happened on the Rose Road, she now has access to a brand new loan from the Iron Bank, which opens up a wide range of new possibilities for her. Qyburn has already been in contact with the Golden Company, so perhaps, given the accelerated timescales we've seen so far this season, they will arrive soon and take up arms for Cersei. After Daenerys has finished dealing with her vanquished foes, she will return to Dragonstone and, judging from these pictures, Drogon's injury doesn't seem to be too bad. Dany seems to be riding on him again, which probably wouldn't happen if he were near death. And Tyrion is also back, listening here to Varys, who is saying she must be made to see reason. The way the preview is cut seems to suggest that this is about Dany. That perhaps Varys has had enough of Dany's fiery warmongering, or her refusal to help Jon in the north. This is possible, but I think he may actually be talking about Cersei. She must be made to see reason. Maybe about Cersei not accepting a proposal for a parley with Dany, or an unwillingness to engage with the threat from the White Walkers. I wonder whether this is part of some kind of ongoing attempt by Varys and Tyrion to engage with Cersei through Jaime. So perhaps Tyrion is cajoled into making that contact, probably through Jaime, and actually heading into King's Landing. Jon is still at Dragonstone, of course, presumably overseeing the mining of all the dragonglass he needs, and he will want to be heading off soon. If Dany won't support him, he might as well head back north now and try and coordinate the defences with however much dragonglass he can fit on his ship. But that doesn't seem to be what is happening here. There's a rather incongruous picture of Dany apparently trying to intimidate Jon again, this time using Drogon. And, like last time, it doesn't seem to work. Jon simply stands his ground as Drogon roars at him. Is this yet another indicator of his Targaryen heritage? Probably. I say that scene seems incongruous because we also see Jon and Davos invited into the heart of Daenerys' small council meeting, discussing strategy over the map table, or at least explaining to her what their own plans are. We can actually draw quite a lot of conclusions from this short snippet. Jon says that Bran has seen a vision of the Night King marching towards Eastwatch. This is presumably a reference to this scene of Bran walking into a crow, or perhaps even a whole murder of crows, and spying on the Night King's army. So Bran seems to be finally gaining enough control over his powers to do useful things like reconnaissance missions, rather than just tell people disconcerting truths about themselves. This will be very important for Season 8 because Bran was starting to look powerful but impotent due to his lack of control over his powers. Hopefully this is just the next step in an ever-broadening understanding of what being the Three-Eyed Raven actually means. But this time, like the last time he attempted to take a closer look at the Night King, he is spotted. And although the editing of the trailer may be deceptive, he seems to jump back into his body straight away. At least this time there seems to be little chance of the Night King grabbing him on the arm again. As well as noting the size of the Night King's army in this clip, it's worth noting where they are. The rocky outcrop in this shot is the same one that we saw Jon and his band of brothers standing on in the Season 7 trailer. That's probably in episode 6, but it does confirm what we've suspected for a while. Jon's expedition north of the Wall will be to where he thinks the Night King's army is. He is looking for evidence of their existence to take down south. Jumping back to Jon at Dragonstone for a moment, he says that the Night King's army is heading to Eastwatch. And this is the third time we've heard of Eastwatch this season, despite never seeing it. Jon sent Tormund and the wildlings there, and if you remember back to episode 1, Sandor saw a vision in the flames about the Night King's army heading there. So now the Brotherhood without banners are also heading to the Wall. This all makes perfect sense. We haven't seen everyone who is in the group that heads north of the Wall, but we have seen shots of Tormund, Sandor and Beric. So presumably Jon will head up to Eastwatch to join them and head north with them from there. So events seem to be converging on Eastwatch, a fact which is underlined by the episode itself being called Eastwatch. If I were feeling whimsical, I would suggest that there is some symbolism to this. The sun rises in the east, so Eastwatch is where you look for the dawn. Perhaps this is also where we get our first hope in the War for the Dawn. Anyway, the other point to pull from all this is that if Jon is talking about Bran, then he obviously now knows that Bran is alive and at Winterfell, and presumably knows the same about Arya. So there has been some communication between Winterfell and Dragonstone. And perhaps ravens haven't just gone to Dragonstone. It makes little sense not to tell all the Lords of the South that the White Walkers are on the way. What else can we expect? There will probably be more going on in Winterfell. Littlefinger has been remarkably passive so far this season, so I hope he does something soon. The events of last episode will have made him realise that he is now under great threat from the new Stark wolf pack. Bran could say any moment what he has done, and Arya could kill him very, very easily. So perhaps he will try to force the issue, trying to get Sansa to marry him, threaten to withdraw the Knights of the Vale, or try to create some divisions between the Starks. They are, after all, very different people now. I imagine we will also have more of Sam at the Citadel, having missed him in episode 4, and he is likely to be discovering more, perhaps the secret of making Valyrian steel, or some evidence of Jon's true identity, or even both. Whatever it is, I suspect that his short stay at the Citadel is starting to draw to a close, which means that he either decides to go of his own volition out of sheer frustration, or he gets thrown out for breaking the rules so many times. And to be fair, he has broken the rules pretty much every time we've seen him this season. We'll also probably see Jorah arrive at Dragonstone. Daenerys will be very pleased to see him. He is one of the very few people that she knows she can trust completely, although he will probably arrive just in time to see Daenerys and Jon getting closer. And don't be surprised if she sends him away immediately. If Jon heads off to find evidence of the White Walkers, she will want a witness she can trust to go with him. And I'm not even going to mention the reigning rowing champion of Westeros by name, because he never makes a reappearance when I suggest he might. So perhaps he will when I don't. This time, maybe? Realistically, it's only likely to happen if Davos goes to King's Landing to find him. What else do you think will happen in episode 5? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to support me in producing more videos like this, as well as getting access to more of my content, please click through to my Patreon page. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to know when my next video comes out, then please click on the subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are enabled. Thanks for watching. That's all for this time. I'll see you again soon.